All right, and we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down and do a Q&A and a current events for you guys and gals this afternoon on this lovely Saturday afternoon. And hold on, let me get that goal started. I have a little topic I thought I would cover. Some people brought this up, and I also saw it come through my feed. People were putting posts about it, like Jeff Nippard ran this 6 sets per week for 90 days and in a deficit, and he recomped, kept all his strength, gained a little bit of muscle while losing weight and body fat. Lo and behold, doing 6 sets a week. And here's what's comical, right? Doing really hard 6 sets a week. Now, is it kind of funny? Isn't it funny that Nippard came up and did this? Because have I not been saying for months and months? I have specifically said over and over, have I not? And we know these people chime into my stuff. Jeff chimes into my stuff still. They can pretend they don't like me, but they do chime in. They used to watch my stuff. I've been saying, look, guys, you could all make good gains on 6 sets a week. Is it going to be optimal? Are you going to get 100% of your possible gains? No. But I have said this, every single human being on earth could do 6 sets per muscle group, 6 really hard sets per week, and they would make gains. Right? Have I not made this point very clear? People have asked me, what's the number? I'm like, do 6 sets. I have clients who only do 6 sets, and I've thrown that number out a lot, even months and months ago. Almost a year ago, I've thrown that number out there. Lo and behold, Jeff jumps up and does it. Well, it's no surprise. It's no surprise he made gains, because this other stuff that all these guys promote is trash dumpster training. This whole Brad Schoenfeld, evidence-based, yah sisterhood circle jerk they do, talking about 30 sets of muscle group, it doesn't work without drugs, right? It doesn't work without drugs at all. It doesn't. So, and especially 3 days, like Jeff puts us up, like 3 or 6 day push-pull legs. If you were not on steroids, that is stupid. I'm going to go out on a limb and say if you use less than a gram of gear a week, that is stupid. You're not going to recover. You're not stimulating growth. It's just junk volume at that point. And I'm not saying high frequency can't work, but getting and actually doing real weightlifting, no. 4 days a week is probably your upper threshold for true lifting. I'm not saying you can't do some conditioning and running and other stuff, but actual real lifting, yeah, guys, you're at junk volume at that point. And most guys are going to make most of their gains off 6 sets. I mean, can I give you an exact number? No. 70, 80, 90%, maybe more of your possible gains can happen off 6 sets. And anybody can make gains on that. Anybody. The only argument, I don't keep up with Birkin these days, Getty. The only argument really is how much more would you get from 15 or 20 sets? Okay. But even then, I've been at my biggest and strongest before doing 12 sets a week, right? How many sets was I doing a week for quads when I was squatting 600 on this channel? Even I'm here in my mid 40s when I was at the heavier body weight. I was doing 12 sets for my quads. I never went over that. And I think this is kind of the point we make. My guys who hit big numbers, like when I had Perry up here benching like 420, 430, double his body weight pretty much. I had him squatting over 600. He only did about 10 sets of muscle group. Right? Gutty says, Martin, to say about Martin, he's 45, still deadlifting over 600 for reps, and recently hit a 360 bench PR. He had like 15 pounds. Nice. I mean, Martin has always gotten good results. Hit the like, guys. Gutty, why aren't you hitting the like? You in here commenting, we don't have likes. Someone put the post. Good like, guys. All right. I'm also, do I need to make a community post? That would probably help. Let's get over on that. Oh, this channel turns 12 the other day. This is my second channel. This is not my original channel. This is my 2.0. It hit 12th year anniversary earlier this week, a few days ago. Man, And this is not my first channel, so we're doing this. Is actually my third channel. I had a smaller other channel right after the first one I did minor stuff on. All right, hold on, let me make a community tab post. Let's get more people in here. All right, I should put it into some people's feeds. My only concern with Martin is his gear use. He has some unnecessary. I mean, and I've kind of said that. There's definitely been some of that. You could tell when that happened. I don't think he uses large amounts, though, to be fair. Right. Keep in mind, good strength-based, pretty decent genetics, years and years of smart, hard training. Right. And Martin's always had, again, that more refined look. He's not getting that fake boofy look. And I think that's one of the things you have to remember, that a lot of times that softer look of all that fake muscle is what you see on a lot of dudes. A lot of fake muscle on dudes. That's why they shrink so fast when they come off. But that's a whole separate topic, isn't it? Right? All that fake muscle. When they go down to either cycling off or a replacement dose, and dudes just shrink. That's when you know they were using a lot of gear. Or it's particularly wetter compounds. And Trin is a wet compound. People forget that. They think because it sucks water out from under the skin, that it doesn't cause massive amounts of water retention. It does. It's just intramuscular, right? Martin is also gangster for not caring about going bald despite being a model, right? Yeah, nobody cares. Like, dudes who worry about going bald, I don't have time for it. I wonder why we're not getting views in here yet. This has been slow. They're not liking something with the algorithm. I'm going to be really careful moving forward, though. I'm going to avoid profanity. I'm going to avoid certain things in here. And I do think, just for general purposes, though, I need to straight up ban any sort of anything that's over the top. Like guys who type a bunch of really kinky sexual stuff, I'm just going to have to auto ban them. Right? It's horrible for my outreach. Phil, does fake muscle really matter if someone's goal is physique based? Here's what I'm going to say, Phil. And the reason I'm going to say this, see what I just said? And then this dude asked that, hey, JPEG, did you not hear what I just said? Okay, I'm going to have to ban you. All right, I just said any sort of really kinky sexual stuff is going to be auto banned. I just said it, and then you did that right after. It's bad for my algorithm. You're taking money out of my pocket. You have to go. Bye. Phil, let me ask you a question. Hey, everybody, what's up, Defiant? Kapowding, hit that like button, Trill. Phil, define what you mean by physique-based. Like, do you want to look like that all the time? Yeah, it's a problem. Because you do know you can't stay on all the wet stacks all the time. So do you see the problem with your question? Does fake muscle matter? You going to cycle off? You going to cruise? You going to go and just TRT in between? What happens if somebody sees you? So you're asking, why does it matter? I don't know, man. Are you worried that your girlfriend, all of a sudden you have your shirt off and she sees you shirtless and goes, why'd you lose 20 pounds? You were a lot bigger 10 weeks ago. I'm just saying. So what do you mean by physique based? I'm going to say maybe it does matter. It won't matter in the sense if you're going to step on a bodybuilding stage once a year. Because do you care if if the fake is gone? Right? But it's kind of going to matter a lot if you actually want to have it year round. It's going to really matter. Well, you can keep most of it, but not fake muscle, Trill. So let me put it this way. If your drug stack puts 25 pounds of intramuscular water on you, you're going to lose all of it. Let me state that again. If you're holding 25 pounds of additional intramuscular water, you will lose 25 pounds of it when you come off. You're going to lose all of it. Right? Yeah, the subscribers have been ticking up. The lives have been helping a lot. So do you see the problem there, Phil? Right, but you're not keeping it. So you're like, you want to be physique based. Do you want to actually have your physique all the time, or are you just doing it? So I need you to answer. Are you talking about a day-to-day physique base, or are you talking about stepping on a stage once a year? These are definitely different topics. Deadlifted 155, 355 for 5 today, coach, still not that big. I already know it's you, Dingleberry. Is that you, Dingleberry, on another account? Well, okay. So keep getting stronger. What can you keep from real muscle if running high tests or something like that? It's hard to say, Defiant. Like, how big are we talking? I mean, there's going to reach a point where no, you can't. So do you understand that this is such an enormous sliding scale? Right? So there's no answer. Like pro wrestler size, yeah, okay. Yeah, you can keep most of it actually. So you can keep most of it. But yeah, if you're talking like IFBB size, no, you can't keep it on a replacement dose. You can't keep it in between blasts. It's gonna fade. Right? Like you can't run 5 grams of gear plus growth hormone and insulin and keep all of it. You just can't. Does that make sense? Is that reasonable? Now, are you talking about guys who run 5, 6, 700 milligrams? Yeah, they can keep that. They can keep all the actual true hypertrophy just on a replacement dose. Best way to avoid getting trapped in intermediate purgatory. Keep training, be consistent, don't overtrain, get your training smart. I mean, if you're trapped in intermediate purgatory, it's because you're either not patient, you're doing too many silly dreamer bulks and then cutting and losing gains because you're dieting muscle off, you don't have fatigue management on point. You just need to train correctly and be patient. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you see Nick Walker heart attack? That's literally the first thing that pops in my head. Oh, you're lagging. Will fat gain help deadlifts? No. No, fat gains are not useful. If anything, it could hurt your deadlift leverages. How much stuff do you think guys like Hulk Hogan were taking? I don't know, Phil. Nobody really knows. Keep in mind, though, he used a decent amount, made it to 75, and used a lot of Coke and stuff when he was younger and still made it to 75. So I don't know. Guys were more conservative back then, though. You ever been caught lacking? No. You can catch me lacking in them streets, bro. Who do you think hold on, trauma. Who do you think I am? The juggernaut. Right? Phil, you don't know what lacking means? I'm gonna put it in slang terms for y'all, right? You caught out there without that thing. Bang bang skeet skeet. In other words, caught unarmed when you needed to have your carry piece. I'm going to put it into the linguistics of my fellow saltine Americans. What he means is, were you caught outside in a dangerous situation without your everyday carry handgun on? You're like, oh, okay. You just had to put it that way, right? Right. So that's what they mean by lacking. Catch you lacking in them streets. Right? You didn't have your Glock. All right. Should elbows be pinned to the side during barbell curls? Best of luck to you. Right? If you have lats, you almost can't do it. Because I don't know why. Rather than need one and not have it, right? There you go. Define what's the difference between the G17 and the 19. I have lots of tutorials on barbell curls. So you don't know how to do a barbell curl? So you take a barbell and you do this with it. This is a bar. It's called a barbell curl, right? That's how you do a barbell curl, just like that. Kiss me. So the difference between the 17, the G17, and the G19 is 1/2 inch of barrel, 2 extra rounds in the bag, and 1/2 inch of extra grip length. Right? Otherwise, they're pretty much identical in terms of specifications. I have a preacher curl, but I haven't been doing them. I haven't really been doing curls at all at the moment. I do doing pull-ups and rows. I do own a preacher bench, though. Yeah. Yeah. So kiss me. Let me demonstrate again. You asked how do you do a curl like this? You have your elbows back and you do this. You bend the elbow, right? I mean, carrying a bicep on a preacher curl is a valid concern. That's why you don't ego lift on it. That's one of those you can't be laying back. Do not lay back on a preacher curl. That is bicep snap city, especially to cheat or to do force reps. Oh, let's do a force rep. Yeah, just stop, guys. Right? Popping your bicep and curls up like a tennis ball. Do you watch? No, I don't. I don't watch those at all, but I know it causes different injuries. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, bro. I have 25 years of experience in the iron game and probably 20 years off and on of coaching and training. Do you do calisthenics? That's how I found you. Yeah, I love weighted pull-ups and weighted dips. Right. I think they're great ways to get jacked and strong. I think they're great functional training. You know, I think most lifters would benefit from doing them. Would you ever consider using cutting drugs? No, I don't. I'm 48 years old. Let me be clear. Right? Let me be very, very clear on that. It's not really an option due to the health risk. My mother died at 47 of cardiovascular disease. I'm about to turn 49. Doing a bunch of cutting drugs is not a good idea. Let's see. Joshua. Look at you over here talking trash. Shall we put him up to a vote? Trill, you're in here still, right? We got a kapow. Got the voters in. Does he kapow or does he go? We don't have regulars in. I don't want to put him up for a vote because there'll be new people in here who say stay. Defiant says kapow. Huge Clues goes kapow. Well, let's see. I'm not advised on anything, home skillet. I'm on a replacement dose of test. I am on literally just TRT. So we got kapow, 2 kapows, nobody else. All right, we're gonna warm it up. Let's warm it up. Got a little bit of shake. And bake, kapow. And he's out of here, and he's out the door. Thoughts on starter bros? I don't know what that means, dude. Let me address the other problem. Coach, I know you're always against alcohol, but are you passionate against the methamphetamine and fent problem in Texas? How do I put this? Because it's not as big of a socially acceptable thing, I don't have to hold the same position. However, do you want my political viewpoint there? If I were made, you ready? If I was made God Emperor of mankind, it would be a capital offense to manufacture and sell them. Is that fair? Like if I was in charge, it would be a death penalty offense. Is that a fair enough response, Phil? I think people who manufacture those things and distribute should be charged with capital murder or mass murder, which is in Texas is a death penalty. Fair enough answer? There's your solution. What makes HEB better than Costco? I mean, it's not necessarily better by default. What about the accountability of the users happen to them? Well, you send them to rehab, man. See if you can make them productive members of society again. Jason, do you like? I don't eat fast food, dude. Afternoon, coach, looking veinier than usual. We got veins. How are we rating the veins today, guys? How are we going to rate the left arm vein on a scale of 10? You guys can add other qualifiers in there. Booyakasha. I don't know about all that. Let's see if it's real. Got some fake AI happening there. You guys know I could just be wearing, I could have taped something to my arm to make it look like a blood vessel. So let's make sure it's real. All right, there we go. All right. How do your veins pop like that? I do a lot of conditioning. I have a lot of electrolytes in my diet. Do you guys have In-N-Out Burger in Texas? I'm not sure. I'm going to say Smash Burger is the best burger type place I've had, but I generally don't do fast food anymore. All right. There's 100 milligrams of test a week and never TRT. That's a fairly common prescription, Trump. Well, you can wait a little longer. Usually it'll happen, but I'm not in a hurry, right? I'm not in a big hurry for it, but you can wait. This morning I was 210 on the scale. How high? Coach Eno's at 210 pounds. All right. Do we need to check the quads? Hold on. Let's get a quad check. Let's see how coaching legs are doing today. For 165. 165 a little light for me. Yeah, I'll definitely be under 200 by my 50th. Because I'll probably do it quicker at a certain point. I don't need to be over 200 pounds at 50 years old, honestly. So definitely by then. They don't put top arm class to shame. I've been on it for a few weeks, so I can convince doctor to give me more interesting dose. I mean, yeah, talk to your doctor about it. I know guys who get up to 200 from their doctors. Like I know a guy, they know it's no one that you guys know of, so we try to look. I've had a client actually who had a really serious law enforcement job, not just regular street cop, who he got 200 a week from his doctor prescription. So, right. And we were chatting about it, but he was actually a Fed and he was getting 200 a week, a sip, like from the doctor, and they were happy to keep him there. Hey, coach, have you been complimented on your? I get plenty of I get compliments in general. Like we're good. All right. I get plenty of compliments. Hey, usually I'm not going to discuss any of that. And I wouldn't say cop is not the correct term for federal officers, actually. Do you think I would look good at 160 to 5'9"? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how big you are. Would you consider buying an electric bike? I don't know what that is. Everything's too far for something like that. Are you talking about just like a scooter? Yeah. No, I'm not gonna do pound a month. I'm not gonna worry about any of that. I'll slowly over time start trickling down. Encouraging to hear I want to get some extra benefits, but not anything that would negatively impact your health. So yeah, your doctor will can monitor all of that. I mean, a lot of times tell your doctor, look, so what's your blood work showing at 100? What's your nanograms per deciliter? True. Just out of curiosity, if you don't mind, so let me apologize. If you do not mind me asking, since you did volunteer, it's not hard to do. Yeah, it sure is. Some of us care about our strength and our performance. Didn't drop 20 pounds of fat. You dropped water and muscle. Oh, I mean, I've done it in 2 days. So sure, I've done 23 pounds for a powerlifting meet. Right? Sure, okay. But you didn't drop 20 pounds of fat. Hey, Elle, I'm not going to give you advice on where all to meet girls into fitness per se. That's almost you hire me, go into a consultation, I'll give you advice. How's that sound now? What curl amount would give biceps? I don't know what amount would give biceps. Also, does a stronger misgrip deadlift if the curl go up? No. 3 was it 8? Because I'm talking to a girl in another country. Having done that whole situation before, make sure that that's a really good situation. Right? Yeah. All right. Let's get over to real questions, guys. Hey, Kiss Me, I don't know what curl amount would give big biceps. See, you'll notice we just do them silent now. So you were at 346 before you got on. Free was at 800. This was, so you were 800 nanograms per deciliter. Wait, no, I don't. Yeah, I can't help you then. I was curious what you were at 100 to see what you might be able to convince your doctor of. No, I'll make a little bit of gains here and there. How high? I'll make a little bit of gains. Hey, Phil, he was a troll. Already got rid of him. Is 8 rep range good for curls? It's on the lower end of what's acceptable. You start going really under that, you're risking pulls and injuries too easily. I keep reps a little higher on stuff like that. 8's probably near the minimum, right? Near the rock bottom of as low as I'd consider. I understand this before I got on. Oh, meaning I can't give you any further advice. So if you're wanting to talk to your doctor about more, I don't know where you're at now. So if we don't know where you're at on the 100 milligrams a week, then I don't know what you would say to your doctor, right? No one thinks you only need 1 set to failure. Menzer was crazy. Next. You guys are crazy. You're all crazy. The 1 set is ridiculous. The only reason the Burkham stuff worked with even 3 is 1 super hard big compounds with overlap. There's going to be overlap in the muscle groups, right? People forget that when they're thinking of things like squats and deadlifts and pull-ups and so on. How high? Menzer was used because of steroids, and Menzer didn't do just 1 set. Why are you talking about his later works as if he trained that way? Okay, you are aware the stuff Menzer promoted later in life as a non-lifter is nothing like what he did as a bodybuilder. These are not even remotely similar training styles. Okay. So that would be like, let's say, whatever, Usain Bolt getting up and telling you, hey, I devised, after he retires from the Olympics and as a sprinter, he comes up with a whole new running philosophy that doesn't look like what he did as a sprinter, and then markets it and does lectures on it. And then people say, but he was this amazing runner with all these records. Because he's got a massive TikTok following and stuff with the kids right now. Lately, he's blown back up. Right? So it would be the equivalent of Bolt coming out saying, actually, I devised a whole method to build your sprint, and all you do is get on a recumbent bike for 15 minutes a day. And then people would listen to him because he used to be, this amazing runner. Do you understand? This is the equivalent of what you guys are doing with Menzer. What he promoted later was his crazy drug-induced philosophies as a meth addict. They're not how he actually trained. His training was documented and written about before all that. So he didn't train like that. Right. Well, kiss me. I mean, if you're getting 6 or 7, you are at a greater risk of an injury on curls. I mean, you're asking me if it's okay, and I just told you. Kiss me, what do you mean how you're supposed to progress? You just progress. Over time, you keep putting in the work. Eventually, those 8 reps turns into 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and you can add some weight, and you repeat the cycle. This isn't difficult. Now, it takes time, right? It takes time to do these things. No, how high? That's literally what the opposite of what I just told him to do. I told him don't go under 8. I told him just add reps until he gets stronger. So how high? You're literally contradicting the advice I just gave him. You're going to get him hurt. Right? We don't need all this nonsense. We don't need this, bros. So I just told him he probably shouldn't be going under about 8 reps at the minimum. And so you're trying to get him under 8 reps. No, he can just add reps. Right? That's what I read. Oh, I see. Right. How much arm training does it take to get to the point where that arms will no longer grow and respawn? Like, what's the sweet spot? I don't know what the sweet spot is. I can tell you that my arms didn't grow when I was doing 20 plus sets a week. So if I'm doing 75 pounds for 6 or 7 reps and go to 70 and get 10, yeah, there you go, and then keep. Yeah, there were mostly silent capels north. Now that people are rolling in, though, we'll start getting some boats in here. Hey, Peterbilt, no, I have no thoughts about creating a new separate channel at all in any way. I did it for quite a while, months and months, honestly. Though. I feel like my arms were bigger when I didn't do any direct arm work. The pictures, people said in the pictures too, they're like, yeah, your arms actually were a little bigger. I mean, granted, you're leaner now, but the arms were definitely bigger. I was living on dips, pull-ups, rows, pressing. And that was like 8 years ago. It was for quite a while. So, kiss me back over to your point. Yeah, wait till you get to 10. You could get up to 11. You get up to 12. Right? No, I'm not on Rumble. I don't need to be on another video platform other than Facebook. And I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, exactly. In the footage 2016, I wasn't doing any direct arm work, occasional hammer curls. Right? Now I'm not on TikTok either. I don't want to because of all the issues and possible security issues. Right? Does the sled push give a good burn? Yeah, absolutely. What's bench number you consider to be strong? Anything 315 plus is considered strong. Right? Strong is, of course, relative. In the hardcore powerlifting world, it's not. But I would say for regular gym rats, if you can bench at least 315, people are going to consider you to be strong. Right? You go anywhere but a hardcore powerlifting gym and you bench 315, people are going to turn and look and be like, yeah, dude's strong. Right? Yeah, I do rep work with 315. Every workout. Right? My shoulder mobility was really good back then. Maybe that's why. Exactly. I did the neutral grip pull-ups, also my overhead pressing. So North, if you go watch those videos, look at all that overhead pressing. I used to just hold 205 at the lockout just fine and just sit there with it, right? Like on rep work. So again, that's what I'm working to get back to. Ideally, I'd love to be able to do behind the neck presses again. I would like the range of motion restored to be able to behind the neck press again because I love doing push presses behind the neck back then. Like I loved that exercise. Most gyms have guys aren't benching 225 or squatting 215. If they are, it's half reps, right? I mean, whereas in me, I'm trying to get to 20 reps on 225. I'm at 18. It's back off work. So if you guys caught that earlier this week, my best set after doing 315 for a top set, I dropped down to 225 and I got 18 pause reps, all clean, pretty. So I want to get that. My goal is to get that to 20. I want to bench 225 for 20 reps, all clean. Jason, tips for drivers to not compromise their backs. Take bands with you. So while you're driving, take mini bands and do high rep good morning. Stop and take breaks and do them. Do some kettlebell swings and stuff also. Thoughts on fitness influencers using flake weights? Yep, we've all seen it. It's why I bought calibrated plates. Specifically on my channel, I bought road calibrated plates just to show, look, I'm using good stuff. And then I've hit similar stuff in competition. All right, so the last meet, I was squatting right around 500 in my gym. I walked in and hit 496 for a second attempt, took my state record and didn't take a third, and so on and so forth. My theory is that the range of motion you had back then allowed the arms to pull you through the greater distance and thus you have more muscle. Yeah, the neutral grip pulls were really solid. I did them really close though too. What are the pros and cons of 15 plus rep squats? The pros, they don't beat you up the same because you're forced to use a lighter weight. The downside there, they require a lot of conditioning. They're grueling. So do you remember when I was doing sets of 20 with 300 for back down work? All right, with the cambered bar, like they're absolutely grueling, right? They're just grueling. Arnold Doug benches 500 pounds. That's a good bench. If someone stalls on their conjugate max effort list while eating in a surplus, what could be the issue? They didn't gain enough muscle, or they have a weak link that needs to be fixed. A video of you weighing and racking each plate. Oh my god! But easy bar curls or dumbbell curls give the same. I mean, technically, I almost feel like if someone big enough got up and said they were fake, I could contact Rogue and have Rogue sue them because Rogue certified my plates. Like, so technically, they're slandering Rogue because Rogue has records that I bought all those plates from them, and they had certification papers for them because they're competition legal plates. Technically, Rogue would have a viable lawsuit. Just an FYI. Because they're technically slandering their product. Would easy bar curls or dumbbell curls give the same gains? You believe in calorie deficit or weight loss? It's a proven fact. So would be the solution be to just keeping the accessory work or increase food? No, you shouldn't necessarily need to increase food, future. No, you need to look at the accessory work more, figure out why you're not getting stronger. Because I haven't seen the totality of your training in the missed lifts or where you're sticking. I can't give you a direct answer other than I will say something is wrong with your accessory work probably. I don't know that viral videos do much. The most viral video I had didn't really make money. My big money were just real solid, strong, long videos. Like my ballistics video for the FBI ballistics report for the gun channel, that made a lot. My Rich Piana death cycle made a lot. When I predicted his death ahead of time, and then it redoubled now when he died, it came back and made like another $1,000. All right. The problem is they've got numbers stamped on them, how high. All right. Jason, how does it? Oh, Ivan, do you guys want to give him a vote or should I just go straight to the ban? Do you guys feel like giving you a vote? Do you guys want some democracy today? So Ivan's over here claiming trolls have the most important information on you. You guys want to vote? Anybody? Future Defiant, let's vote. Trill, what you giving? I already know you about to kapow him. Trill's giving a kapow. Oh, this is fun. All right, do you think of the recent study on protein powders? I'll probably address it in a live tomorrow. I read it over this afternoon. But keep in mind, that's been an ongoing thing. Over and over and over and over, they've been doing that. Consumer Reports has been reporting on that for 20 years. It's an ongoing problem. But man, did they slam those vegans, the vegan powders, whole and that naked whatever, man. The arsenic and rice is not worth consideration, or no one's getting hurt from it. All right, there's arsenic in everything you eat almost, by the way. All right, we got one kapow, so that's the end of it. Ivan, kapow, booyakasha, and you're out of here. Well, I'm trying to ignore certain things, but certain people enjoy the kapows. Like a lot of people found the kapows so funny that if I do enough of them, they actually donate money even. Right? So Defiant says, I love democracy. But that's not a troll. That's technically a stalker. But it's an interesting point that you raised, Phil. That's an interesting point that you raised. Thoughts on 2-a-day workouts. For most people, it's excessive. For most people, that's going to be excessive. You need to really think through why you're doing it. Well, jumping rope is just light cardio. It's not workouts. You understand the difference here? You tell me 2 a days. I'm thinking you're doing a 2 hour weightlifting session and then doing another session later. Probably my best achievement as a lifter, 635 deadlift on camera. I think the 625 at the charity event, because it actually helped somebody, is the biggest achievement as a lifter. Because it's the fact that it actually helped another human being in need. Do you think the vertical diet is good to follow for somebody who wants to lean bulk? Possibly. Do you overdo sprinting or running? I don't understand the question. Please ask it differently. Oh, do you ever do? Yeah, I run. I run 2-3 days a week. For a while, I was running every day. I ran twice this week, and then I sprint with the sled. Do we count the sled sprint as a sprint? So if I get my sled and I run as hard as I can for like 40 yards, does that count as a sprint? It's sprinting, but pushing a sled. But I just jog. I never go over 5 miles though when I run. And lately I've been cutting them a little shorter. So I document all of it. I do streams while I do it. I do it live stream when I run. Was Michael Hearn a legit powerlifter? Like, was he actually compete? He competed as a teenager. He didn't have massive numbers. Walking is good for your health. Is it good cardio per se? Not necessarily, but it still could count as maybe less, and it's certainly good for you. No, I don't have any damage to the bottom of my feet. Like, your feet toughen up. Like, dude, if I step on an acorn or a rock, I just pick it out. My feet are like a leather. Like, the bottom of my feet are like leather now. Like, they're good. No, I don't want you to see my bottom of my feet. They're going to be almost permanently darkened because I work outside. So yes, I washed them. I've washed them today, but they're just going to look dirty. So I'm not going to do it. I document my training, Phil. I'm going to do me, exactly. I document my training, home skillet. You're going to have to just deal with it. It's all good. You're right. I will do me. That's how we roll. Oh Lord, sorry, checking a couple of the Facebook posts. The craziness from the carnivore crowd never ceases to amaze me. Coach, no more guitar. What do you mean? Your running videos would be better with a GoPro style camera. I mean, your suggestion has been taken, and I don't feel like breaking out or charging up my GoPros. Right? How many grams of oats? I'm not. I'm doing mostly rice. So just to show you what I mean, you can be like, you don't have GoPros. I got plenty of GoPros. I don't feel like busting out or charging these hoes up. Right? We got GoPros. We can do some curls with the GoPros. Oh, how many grams do curls for the girls? Right? Because it would be easier to run, but I like holding the phone, man. I want to hold the phone. I'll try to take my phone runs away from me. How high? Why are you trying to be like that? I'll try to be a gains goblin. Maybe I like holding the phone. I know you're trying to help. I get it, man. And a pimp appreciates what you do. Right? But I don't want to do it. But hey, man, I do appreciate you. Craig says I work on golf courses and can walk around 7 miles a day. Is that and weight training good enough for general health, or I need actual cardio? I mean, honestly, um, honestly, you're probably pretty good there, Craig. Like if you're walking up to around 7 miles a day for your work like that and your weight training, you're in a pretty good place overall for general health. Am I saying you wouldn't benefit from some extra cardio? You probably would, but you're doing pretty good. Like that's actually pretty solid. Like you could get pretty dang healthy just doing that. Do you plan on taking the guitar more seriously? Yeah, eventually, when my time and my life allows for it, I will start dedicating more time to the guitar, more and more, and a little less casual than I do. Eventually, right? But for now, I do practice. I do mess around and practice and play stuff and do scales and learn stuff pretty regularly. But I only give it about 10 minutes a day. You know, I give it about 10 minutes a day. But eventually, yeah, I'll totally do more. Any plans on bringing the delts? Yeah, so you haven't watched the vlogs this week. I started actually doing laterals and stuff again. And I've been doing the throws, which help, and other stuff. So yeah, I am aware I need to bring my delts up. Based on my own pictures and footage, said, yeah, I know I need to do it. Let me throw some delt work in. No, I don't have those problems, dude. Chavs is a British thing. Do you think most people could stop overhead press and still build great shoulders? Maybe. Any plan to go more serious with the vanity tours? No. Because I just didn't feel like I needed all the shoulder work. But I'm going to work shoulder work back in. Plus, I wanted to leave my shoulders alone and see how it affected that inflammation, right, and all the things that I need to open up in there. So I wanted to leave them alone for a while too. But yeah, I've started adding shoulder work in. I mean, realistically, besides the body fat levels, my delts are probably, honestly, my worst muscle group at this point, the side delts. And even I'm always like arms. I've even had I've had bodybuilders say, yeah, dude, your delts really are your weakness. It's actually not your arms. They're like, your arms are actually fairly proportionate at this point. Bring your delts up. I've had 3 bodybuilders who I know tell me that. Although one of them did say, look, but it will never hurt to have bigger triceps, but still. Yeah, I'm not going to try falling push-ups. But I did want to see if taking out direct delt work for quite some time would help with that improved range of motion. Really didn't. So, but I'm feeling like just working things through. Dead hang pull-ups. I feel like hanging leg raises. I feel like the throws, I feel like the actual tosses overhead really seem to be helping. What about hands? I can't do them. I can't lock a barbell over my head, so how could I possibly do handstand push-ups? Plus, that's a partial, unless you've got all sorts of handles, and at that point, just go for weights. Just for lagging chest or dumbbell presses and floor presses, weighted dips, maybe incline dumbbells, more benching, bench wider grip, right? I don't think dumbbells are better than barbells. I've seen zero evidence at all that dumbbells are better for pecs than a barbell. If anything, I've seen evidence to the contrary. Weighted dips, though. Deep dips with a forward lean. Maybe adding in a second angle. Maybe some incline work if they're really lagging. Wouldn't be a bad go. Right? So if flat bench isn't building your chest and it's still lagging, I post all of it up, Phil. So we do all that. I mean, I do a decent amount of GPP and then we run. So it's not like a tiny amount of total conditioning. I mean, I did 3 sessions this week on camera. I don't know what part of I document my training people don't get. I document all my training. So do you do anything off camera? I document all my training. Do you do anything? What do you do off camera? I document all my training. You know? I feel like a broken record sometimes with that. You know, being big, you get treated very differently. What do you mean bad? You know, people ask questions, they compliment you. You don't get messed with though in general. Like I don't know what the idea when people talk about people being rude in public and things. I have no concept of this. I literally have no concept. Are calves mostly genetic? No, man. It's all. I mean, follow my amazing training and you'll get great calves. Right? It's all about the training, man. Because I have the worst genetics in YouTube fitness. Multiple people said that I have the worst genetics in YouTube fitness, and I have big calves. So just train like I do. What causes injury during barbell curls? Overuse, bad form, sloppy eccentrics could potentially do it at the wrong angle. Hence my point, you're a very new lifter and you're trying to do really low reps with curls. Invariably, you're going to have a form breakdown in a bad direction. And that's going to be a high risk. Do women, yeah. You guys have seen women catcall me while I'm walking or jogging on streams. Did you and Michael Hearn have beef at one point? Yeah. He threatened to slap me, and I threatened to put a magazine in him in a response when he was going to show up at my gym. And I had to have the gym owner and I had to have a talk about it. And she had to call Mike and talk to him about it. No, here's what's funny. She called him and told him, she's like, you do know Blaha's serious. She's like, you never met him. She's like, he's not kidding. She's like, do you understand that? He's a Texas guy. He is from Texas. He's a Texas pew guy. She's like, he will smoke you. You threatened to hit him and claim to be a martial artist. He's just going to smoke you. She's like, you know, he's not kidding, right? You can't do this stupid stuff. Like, you can't do this. Like, I need you to back out of this stupidity so I can let you do this event at my gym. And I'm it's like, because, you know, she had to pull that with him. She's like, I don't know. Like, you guys on the internet think Blaha is kidding. She's like, he will do it. And she's like, he might actually get away with it and not even get arrested. She's like, you idiot. Oh, I don't know. He just had a beef because I've called him a fake natty, so he threatened to slap me. He said because he was coming down for an event at my gym. And he said he was going to slap me in my sugar tits. And I'm like, well, okay, anytime you feel froggy, just go ahead and leave. But here's the problem. You have written documented that you're a judo champion everywhere. That means your threat range is 10 yards. So now that you've threatened me with a deadly weapon, and the threat range on that is considered for self-defense purposes approximately 10 yards for a trained martial artist, according to the classes I've taken, you're a threat to me at 10 yards. So at 10 yards, I'm smoking that ass. Pretty straightforward. And now everyone calls her being a fake natty, you know. I don't remember. She allowed him to come, but she's just like, and she told me I wasn't even banned. She's like, just if you show up, she's like, behave, please, pretty please. She looked like doing a pretty please with sugar on top. I don't need this crap. She was a tough chick. She was tough. It was all funny. And I told her, I said, I probably won't be here unless it happens to be during my scheduled workout. I'm like, I give you my word, unless he attacks me, I won't pop him. And I shook on it. Right? It's like ridiculous. I haven't trained Joe Frazier. I think I looked at the dates. People asked me, I had to pull the file up. It's been over 5 years. Right? How many times you should be every day? A minimum once a day. Right? Bare minimum once a day. If you're not doing that, you don't have enough fiber in your diet. You need to eat some vegetables. Eat some fruit. You need some fruit, homie. Get on that fiber train. Why did you stop coaching, Joe? Hey, how high? I'm not going to answer your question, and I'm going to ignore it. So please don't re-ask it. Because when I ignore you guys, you re-ask the question. I'm going to simply tell you I'm going to move on. So future, are you asking me to give a client's personal reason why they needed to drop out of coaching? Do you think that that's reasonable? So guys ask that stuff, but you do realize some of these questions technically are breaches of coach-client confidentiality. So are you asking me to tell you the reason that he needed to drop out, even though it's a private professional discussion? Or can we simply say that he needed to drop out? Now, what I will say to Joe's credit, he paid me an extra month after I quit coaching him. Right? So, apologies, I thought you had said it was in the past. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather not go into all that. I mean, a lot of this stuff that I do think about this. People ask me a lot of questions that when I do think about sometimes, they're technically violations of my agreements with, I mean, they're violations of confidentiality. Right? Is that fair? I mean, because technically, so let's say future, you started personal training and I started asking you a lot of personal questions about your clients. Or so what do you do for a living? You do anything to where you work with clients of any type? You know, would you go to social media and post their private details and discussions per se? You know, without permission. So it's just stuff that you have to think about. I'm trying to not do much of that because people will try to drag that stuff out, but because they're always like, well, what happened to this person? What happened to that person? And I'm like, I mean, you're essentially, well, he did progress. He got considerably stronger, and within a few months. So, but the thing is, when people are asking, it's like you're asking me the personal details of my clients. Like, hey, what happened to so and so? Like, so so I have to look at that and say, well, do you want me to tell you that they came down with, I don't know, leukemia and had to quit training and they've gone through chemo? You see what I mean? It's like, is this the answers people are looking for? Because it's obvious I'm not coaching them. So like, well, what happened to them? So by asking those questions, people are asking for the personal details of their lives because you already know I'm not coaching them. So, the personal details could be, I don't know, they went bankrupt. They don't have any money. They went through a divorce. They got cancer. Right. No, and I get that. I'm not mad how high. I'm not actually angry, but I'm simply pointing out that people have to think through this is what they are asking. And they're not thinking through the fact that that is actually what their question is. They're asking for the personal details of the lives of my clients, right? The number one reason, they can't afford it anymore. The price eventually gets to be a lot for them. That's the number one reason. I would say I lose more clients to it's just getting too expensive. I mean, and in many cases, let's say, for example, I coach someone for 2 years and they get really good results, right? Like I take them up from, say, a 430 or 440 squat in a meet up to 500 pounds to 505 over 2 years at the same body weight. And they're still 180 pounds, right? They're still competing in the 181. Right. So let's say we do that. We put 50 pounds on their bench, 100 pounds on their deadlift in that 2 years. They're still training and happy with it, but then they're also going, I spent, 2 years, that's 24 times $250. So do the math on that. They're spending $3,000. They've given me $6,000 for those results. There does come a point where a lot of people go, I'm really happy with the coaching. I've got great results, but I've spent $6,000 and it does add up. And I think I'm okay on my own now. That's a common one. The economic hardship in this economy, big reason. All right. Yeah, and a lot of them can coach themselves, can go on to coach themselves. And Mikey's a perfect example. We took Mikey so far that Mikey was easily able to coach himself from there. Like for his goals, he no longer needed expertise in coaching. He's a perfect example from those vlogs. He was just simply able to handle himself, right? So those are common reasons. As far as those dropping unhappy with the coaching, I've had 3. And we're talking out of what percentage of clients? Like out of maybe 200, I've had approximately 200 online clients since I've officially opened this coaching business to my fan base, not just coaching a few people here and there. I've had approximately 200. I'd have to go count. I've had 3 of that 200 quit because they were unhappy with the coaching. And I'll be honest, I've had 3 of them who were just straight up, I'm unhappy with the coaching. I'm unhappy with the way we're doing this. I'm unhappy with the way you've coached me. 3 out of 200. So it's going to happen. And one of them was at my highest pay rate. So he had been paying me $300 a month, and we got, when I had the prices up higher, I think we got about 6 or 8 months in, and he's just like, I'm really unhappy with the coaching I'm getting here. He's like, you're a good coach overall, but this is not work. Your style isn't working for me. I'm not happy with the way I'm being coached. So in that case, yeah, I did get that one. He did it. And I had 2 others just unhappy with it. They were just completely incompatible as clients. Right. Do I coach? No, I read their messages every day. I look at their lifts. They get maybe an hour in video up to per month. But it's messenger communication. So, but I've had 3 who they were unhappy with my coaching. 3 out of 200. The vast majority, it's economics, or they feel that they've learned enough. They're like, you coached me 6 months or a year or 2 years. I can do this on my own. Okay. And then 20% just ghost. So 20% just drop out and either block you, they delete their messenger account, and they just disappear, and you never hear from them again. So that's about 1 in 5. So I don't know their actual reasons. I've also had one even sent me one saying, hey, I can't afford coaching anymore. I'm happy. Thanks for the gains. And he blocked me. It was like, but he sent me a nice message and then he blocked me just straight up. I'm like, okay, it was weird. In a way, that's how it should be at a certain point where they eventually can go. And a lot of them, that does happen. Well, if the money's well spent, I know what to do after your coaching. Yeah, so and that's the case with a lot of them too. No, I don't drink coffee in the afternoon, dude. What are you talking about, bro? I only drink coffee in the mornings. We don't want caffeine in the afternoon. I got to sleep later. So yeah. Right. And I would agree. Like if they're able to then coach themselves, I mean, how do I put this? What's the best way I could possibly word this? Has anyone tried to refund? No, I've never had anybody try. So, so the thing is, though, are we going to talk from a coaching success or a business success? Right? Coaching success versus business success. A client outgrowing the need for coaching. A client learning so much that they don't need you anymore. From a business perspective, that's horrible. But from a coaching perspective, that's a success. This is a conflict we run into with business, isn't it? Like, as a coach, if I have taught a client in 1 to 2 years enough that they don't need a coach anymore, right? Right? If they don't need a coach anymore, I don't want to take it to my living room, dude. I could. I don't want to. Then haters are going to get even more pissed. You know, if I moved in my living room, I would get even more pissed off haters. I'd be like, yeah, dude, you guys who think I'm a welfare, your tax dollars bought all my furniture. Oh, God. Because I have people who get there. I have angry, angry haters who are convinced I'm on welfare. It's insane. You think 405 for $5 would give you a big back? Yes. So, but back over to that point. So, as a coach, if in 1 to 2 years I have a client who walks away and they get to whatever their number, a 400 squat, 500 squat, and this is success, has that been a successful venture? Like, have I coached them correctly? Have I coached them correctly? I wouldn't want to do a living room. I have some stuff I need to move out of the living room. I need to put in storage. I'm just too lazy to do it. Put it all up. I don't want to put my Christmas stuff up this year, so I have all my Christmas tree and everything boxed up in front of the fireplace. It just looks tacky. So no. I have a lot of Christmas stuff. I just don't want to do it. So unless I have a party to have people come over, for those wives, I'll put it up. I just don't want to do it. I need to get all that out of there. Has an old client ever come back and reached out for guidance or training advice? Yes, I've had old clients come back and hire me again. I've had old clients come back and go, I need 2 or 3 months of coaching again. And I'm talking 2 years later. They come back, we do that. I've had old clients do the video check-ins, like the hour calls. I've had old clients shoot in and ask me questions. So you're asking, have they? Yes, a lot. That's actually really common. How important is it consistent? It's reasonably important, Liz. Yeah. I'd say it's fairly important. They need to hire coaches for a lot of reasons. How high? I've explained this in detail. A lot of people need coaches. They need it even for accountability. I vlog, so like for me, that's one of the biggest things. Since I do my vlogs, that actually handles my accountability. How would you change coaching somebody who has an inconsistent sleep schedule who gets 7 to 8? Are you asking me the fine details? You need to hire me to find out. Please. because this would be very, very, very specific to their situation. True, I could almost coach myself, and a lot of people can, but what about people who don't have time? So, and that's been pointed out, Future. There are a lot of people who are like, you have so much content on your channel that if I binge watch it, I don't even need a coach. Fair. A lot of people don't have the time for that. So think about what a lot of the clients that we have. A lot of the clients have the disposable income, but not the time. So think about that. So let's discuss that as a business model. As a coach, that's who I want. I want the busy entrepreneur. Those are my great clients. My clients who are either own a business or they have a profession that keeps them really busy, but they have disposable income, but they don't have the time to binge watch 300 of my videos, but they have $250 a month to burn. You see where I'm going with this? That is my optimal client. Those are my ideal clients, and I get those clients. That's what you want, right? How high? It's pretty obvious why that wouldn't work, and I'm not going to explain it. So, Future, you guessed correctly. Why do you think I don't care about coaching 20-something-year-old kids? Why do you think I specialize in over 40 dudes? Thoughts on weenie? You have to be more specific. I don't know what you mean. Like weenies, like the hot dogs? What are you talking about? But yeah, why do you think I focus on those guys? They're busy and they usually have money. And I know how to coach older guys because I know how to keep guys from breaking. I just told you I'm not going to explain it. So I'm going to move on. I'm sure you could get a 20-year-old Jackson Strong if they paid you. No, Joe was happy with the coach as far as the quality. I'm not going to give his reason. It was no problem with me per se, right? So it was not the issue. What's a stacked weight for just not place? I don't know. Anything over 200. We don't need to know his status in a wolf pack in a zoo. All right. Do I think alphas and betas? I think it's a figure of speech, right? I think it's a figure of speech, but you mean, is it like a literal thing? No. Like, is this something that is literally exists in humans? No. Is it a basic figure of speech that most people more or less know? Leaders versus followers? That's basically what it essentially means. That's it. But if you take it further than that, not really. I wonder why a lot of the YouTube fitness guys dislike you legitimately give out super solid lifting advice. Well, again, we the whole history, the Kate campaign, the fact that I really called out the fake natty and supplement market. I let all my certs expire 15 years ago. I don't want any. I have no desire to have another one. I think they're worthless pieces of paper. They're not worth the paper they're printed on. I let them expire. Not even going to go back into it. There's no reason to do it. So, how many body weight pulls do you think someone should be able to do before adding weight? 10. So, 10. Yeah, no, he was a client for something like 6 months or something. Problem is you could be sued. You know how high? I feel like you're trolling here, dropping the same troll line of questions. This is, by the way, that is a, how do I put it? That's one of the main talking points of my trolls, by the way. So, see what I mean? Doesn't mean, it's not going to keep you from getting sued. One of your most successful clients was 20-something girl. True. She was late 20s or so. Yeah. Yeah. Because all my communication is documented, that kind of helps a lot. Every client I've had who got injured did something I told them not to do. So, and they were aware of that. They were doing something off programming or something I had previously in writing told them not to do. It's pretty warm. It's 93 degrees Fahrenheit right now, according to my screen. Yep. The conjugate vlogs I think people like those more. Yeah. Ted, we just did a conjugate vlog today, by the way. Ted's back up with it. Yeah. Why would someone? Well, Blaze, that's a great question. I wonder this myself. I often wonder this myself. But it's going off so it's stuff like telling someone not to touch and go their deadlifts, for example, on their rep work. So I'll give you a textbook example. I pulled 500 for 11. One of my clients knew that, and we were doing a top set of rep work on his deadlifts. And he looked at that and said, Coach, I think I can beat you. And I told him, don't hurt yourself doing it. No, I want you to pause every rep. Pause every rep. I want them clean, pretty reps. Do not try to beat me and use bad form trying to catch me. Just don't do it. And he said, I'm going to beat you. Watch, Coach. And he started bouncing, going the reps, and he got to 12 reps of 500, and he tore something. When I had told him in writing not to do it, and I got the footage, he got all 12 reps. Yep. Future, I wish that I could get guys to pause all their reps on the bench. Man. Now, if you know a way to convince guys to pause all their bench reps, I've been trying for 6 years to get my guys to do it on every rep, on every set. I've been trying. It's impossible to get guys to pause all their bench work. It is literally impossible. It can't be done. You cannot get guys to do it. Women will do it. Guys will not. So, especially not with virtual coaching. So, good luck with that one. If you know a method that I don't to get guys to do it. How many clients have you helped recover from other alcohol? I don't know necessarily about clients. I've talked to some clients. Have I gotten numerous private messages from people? At least a dozen different people. Right? Is there really much benefit to pausing every rep? I think there can be, Jamie. Just for you look like a white version of Dwayne Johnson. Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment, considering he was voted sexiest man in the world once. Coach, you convinced me to go through. I'm glad to hear that, Blaze. All right, guys. It is about time to wind this down, though. This has gotten slower. I love you guys. I'll catch you tomorrow, and I'm out. Hey, man, congratulations on the 2 weeks sober, Blaze. So, give you guys a Mount Bicephalus. Oh, Mount Bicephalus.